Hey everybody, I don't normally do an intro like this, but I wanted to say I got a chance to play Path of Light and Shadow with Travis at Cool Mini or Not Expo this weekend, and this is a game that you really should check out. I was blown away. I really like this game, and it's because it has a couple of things that I really thought were unique and different. So it has deck building, but it's different than deck building. You don't have a market to choose and buy cards with. As you conquer within the area control part of the game, as you go out and conquer these different lands, they have faction decks that fit those types of land, and you get cards from those decks, and you have no control over them. Just like if you were going out to war and you took over a land, you got what was left over after you got done pillaging. And so it's very thematic in that way. And so you have to kind of get all this stuff in your hand. You're like, okay, well I can move up my tech tree here, or I can upgrade. The upgrade mechanism is really cool. So you've got a base level, a middle level, and a legendary level. Well, the legendary level, there's only like one card of each kind in the deck. So it's a race to who can upgrade that particular worker first to get the legendary. Then there's a wandering nomad magical mythical faction that it's just nothing but a deck of legendaries, and they're all different. And so when you upgrade one of those, they're expensive to upgrade, but they're really powerful. I really enjoyed the castles and how they break down. They stand for the defense of that area, but then as you roll and you do damage, you can do ruin on that and knock it down some. So you can stand outside and plink a 16 level fortress down so that you can win and take over, or you might just come in and lay waste to something and really knock it way down and grab it right out of the gate. So anyway, this is a game that's great. You're about to watch a walkthrough, more of a deep dive with Travis as we talk through a lot of the finer points that I just said. But hey, this is it, Path of Light and Shadow.
Hey y'all, I'm here with the Raging Redneck. I'm here with Travis with IBC. What's up, Travis?
How you doing?
We're looking at your game that's on Kickstarter right now, Path of Light and Shadow. And I played this yesterday, really enjoyed it. If you're noticing right off the bat, those are awesome castles that you're going to be knocking down and doing stuff with. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Do a little deck building, a little tech tree advancing, or I say deck optimization.
Sure. Empire building is the term I like to use, but I guess that's not really a term. So
well, we just made it one. So yeah. It's empire building with your deck. So let's take a look over here at what a starting hand would look like. Because some of this is going to be pretty familiar to a lot of people, right?
Yeah. So we've got everybody starts with the same 7 cards. So you got 4 trusted followers,
right?
And you got 3 steadfast conscripts. Everyone will get an asymmetrical little advisor, which is like a unique card. And then depending on where you place, part of setup is you'll place and you'll immediately recruit from. There's 4 different realms. There's 4 different decks. You'll recruit from those decks. So you don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to get 2 cards. So
it's kind of like whatever part of the land you're in, you're actually taking people from that land,
exactly,
and you're assimilating them into your
they're joining your cause.
Okay,
is how it works. So your trusted followers are sort of your workers, and your steadfast conscripts are your fighters. So they got 2 stats. The hammer is the labor, so that's used for promoting cards, building structures. So here is on the little tech tree. So you see the little hammer there. And then the swords are used for conquering things, culling, which is getting rid of cards from your deck, and also some promotion as well. But that's the 2 main stats. And honestly, the cards do a lot of really cool stuff, but you're going to want these stats more often than not to do the 7 different actions in the game.
Yeah, one of the neat things I was seeing yesterday is you see each one of these tech trees are for the specific lands, and you have to when you deal out your 5 cards from your deck and you go to do whatever you want to do, you actually, if I want to advance this tech tree, I have to have at least 1 person from that land to advance it, because you got to learn their situation from them. So I couldn't just have all my general cards and upgrade this. So you've got to actually go to that place and recruit people from that land.
Yeah, we feel like that's one of the neat thematic workings into the game. So
can you show us the progression progress as far as upgrading a card?
Yeah, so we can go ahead and I'll show you this guy right here. There he is, eating an apple. So these decks over here are called the realm decks, and you're going to get the level 1 guys from it. So these are kind of the basic units. If you look at the bottom of the card, it'll tell you if I pay here a mixture of 3 labor and strength, that can be any combination of, then this character will turn into a harbor corsair. So you put this card back in its perspective deck, which here it's Riverway Sovereignty, so that's one of the 4 decks. And then I get the Harbor Corsair, and it goes into my discard pile. As you can see, the Harbor Corsair is already better just based on stats alone. So it's a strict upgrade, 1 more labor, 1 more strength with a plus. So, and this has got a little typo on it, so do forgive. But this guy actually gets better. He's better for fighting ports because he's in a boat. So, and then this character would upgrade for 6 labor/strength into the Harbor Privateer, and there's only 1 of this card. So this is a legendary card that the first person that gets it will be the only person that gets it.
Neat.
And he's really good. Like, this guy straight up steals victory points. He's worth 4 victory points. He's got, good stats. He's got defense, which is a really important thing when people are trying to steal your provinces.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so every faction has that progressive middle, kind of a 3-tier system where you can upgrade, and they're worth endpoints. So in my trial game yesterday, I went with the Horde. I built up a lot of attack, and I was just diving in and taking over lands, because when you conquer an area, you get to flag it. I guess you own
you're flying your banner.
Flying the banner. That's a much better term than flag it. And so if you own 2 of those, of the 2 of the 3 same, when we score the 3 different times during the game, at year 4, year 8, and obviously the year 12 at the end, you get the points based off what that stronghold is worth. So right there I've got a 3, 6, 9, 16 situation, right? So that's 16 points by itself, and then you get to add all that up, and it's really cool how you have that intermediate scoring. So during the game, I was like, okay, at the end of my next turn, I'm going to score. Can I get over and capture another area so I get that bonus when we score? And it worked out well for me, but I didn't have any points built up in my deck or my tech tree, so I was all out on the board. So it's got a couple different ways that you can really go about.
It's got a lot of, the fundamental strategies are for ways of scoring points are the area control, the tech tree, and improving your deck, but you do them to different degrees.
Yeah.
So you might have dabble a little bit in promotion, have a little bit of this and a little bit of tech. I mean, the only one thing you have to do is you have to conquer in this game. I mean, it's a game of conquest.
Right.
If you don't conquer at least one thing, that's, you can't, which is good, because it means you can't sit there and turtle.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked is I didn't have to, like, you've only got 1 dude on the board, or dudette, and you don't have to keep them in an area. So once you fly the banner, you can go off and do other things, and people can attack you.
Your deck is your army.
And from your deck, if someone attacks you, if you have a shield character, you can lay that down and add defense, plus any ability that card has in your defense of your areas.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. There was a couple people who did some attacking yesterday that got skunked.
Yeah.
Big potatoes when they...
Yeah, well, they sent 2 few in, and they weren't. One guy wasn't paying attention that another guy had upgraded 4 of the defender cards in his deck and put them on top of his deck because he had an attack that let him do that. So he kind of walked right into a trap.
So I think one of the neat things that really stuck out to me when I was playing it yesterday is, while it's deck optimization, empire building, you don't really have... It's not a typical deck builder where you're choosing the cards that you want. You conquer an area, and the people that are left over, that's who gets added to your deck. And so then you end up having to just make the best of what you get. And at first I was like, oh, I really want to be able to control how I build. But after about 3 turns, I was like, no, this is just as good, because now everybody else is having to do the same thing as I am. Who's the best at optimizing what they get?
Sure, you get kind of a mixed bag. I mean, one of the things we want to do with the game is make sure that all the cards were good.
Right.
So the only card that's kind of strange is this Outland Beggar, which he ties to the morality aspect of the game, which if you make them better, if you promote them, if you give them a leg up, you get a mercy. If you kill them, if you call them out of your deck, you get an extra cruelty, because that's pretty mean that you killing.
So explain your cruelty mercy scale here.
So it's a track that runs 12 spaces in either direction, 12 cruel, 12 merciful. You'll start off on 0, and as soon as you make a moral decision in the game, you'll go on to the track. Now, the 2 inherent ways for you to get mercy and cruelty are, for mercy is at the end of your turn, wherever your guy is, you got to recruit at least 1 card. So if this character was here, I'd have to take at least 1 card from this and put in my discard. If I want, I could take a second card and gain a mercy, because I'm allowing more people into my empire. It's going to make my deck a little bigger, but I'm going to get some more cards, and might get some more cards that are going to turn into valuable assets for my deck. The cruel way isn't automatic like that. The cruel way is you play a card from your hand. You can use its strength, the sword, to remove that many cards from your hand or your discard pile. And for each card you remove, you get a cruelty because you're getting rid of, you're offing people.
You're a cruel leader.
Yeah. So that'll allow you to jump up in cruelty, but the thing is, and while that might seem, well, hey, you can get more cruelty, the mercy way gives you only one mercy. The difference is the mercy way doesn't have to use any cards. So with a cruel way, I've got to actually use my units, and typically, as you know, you played a cruel strategy yesterday. You want to be attacking, so when you have to stop and use a card to get rid of cards, that's a card you're not using to attack stuff or promote guys to make them better for attacking stuff later. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really leaned out my deck so that I was getting nothing but my soldiers up and running as soon as and then I had some cards that gave me bonuses depending on how cruel I was. So it started usually around 8, 10, and 12. I had some cards that were really ramping up.
The factions work so the common folk, they just want you to have conviction. They want you to be strong. So here you see this card gets +2 strength while you have 8 or more cruelty and mercy. I don't care which way you go, just go one of the ways. The Sigilborn are merciful. They want you to be merciful. They're not really that good at attacking, as you can see. They're very good at labor, and they have a lot of cards with defend. So they're good at trying to protect their stuff. They're good at building back up the areas that get ruined, which we didn't go over that, but we can in a minute. The hordes are the guys that they just want to burn everything to the ground and fight. They have no defense. They have no cards with defense.
Right. They're glass cannons, baby.
Cannons. They get in there and they beat people up. These guys don't care which way you go. They don't care if you're merciful or cruel at all. They make you pay victory points for their abilities. They're called the Halax. And then you got this. In each of the realm decks, there's a majority, a median, and a minority faction. And the minority faction is always these guys they're kind of the mystical element of the game. Because the game's kind of more medieval in theme, really. And these guys, there's only one of them, one kind of these guys called Numeri Wanderer. And what you do is if you pay 6, you take a random legend and you put that random legend into your deck, and they give you a different ability based off if you're cruel or if you're merciful. So they're more expensive to get to promote, but once you promote them, you get a really good card, but it's a random draw.
All right, sweet. So let's look at this. So let's imagine the red player has come to Castlefall and wants to take over the Castlefall area. How does that work?
All right, so let's say I've got here, let's draw some cards. I'm gonna look out in there. All right, so if I wanted to take that over, that's a stronghold, so that's a big daddy. I'm not going to succeed on that. Let's say I tried to take over this instead. Okay, that'll be a little easier. So what's interesting in the game is another interesting element of the game is that it has a mix of determinism and luck. So let's say that's 10. I want to play all my cards to try to conquer it. I really want to conquer it. There's maybe an ally out that gives me points, or we're getting ready to score. So what I would do is I would roll dice for my strongest character. So this guy's got 3, so I'd roll 3 dice. Okay. The other characters just contribute their flat value.
So right here we have a guaranteed 5 that we're going to have, and then everything based off this is whatever the dice show.
Yep, so we roll. So right there, I'd actually get it. I'd hit it on the nail it, 10. So boom, I get to put my flag there. And then I draw 2 cards from that realm deck.
Now, if this would have happened, let's say it was, that happened, right? You still would have won, but what happens when?
Well, I wouldn't have won. Let's do it like that. Okay, I would have won, but what happens is these little bursts it's called ruin. And what ruin does is after you determine if you've won or lost, you then diminish the value of the region of the province by how much ruin is there. So it's kind of cool. It's like the casualties of war, collateral damage. You're taking points away from yourself, and you're making your place a little easier to conquer for other people. One of the neat strategies in the game, though, is if you wanted to, say like we were in Castlefall and we knew that we weren't going to be able to take it, I could play each one of my cards one at a time for Conquer and just try to put as much ruin on it as I could.
Plink it down.
To plink it down. That's going to make it worth less points later, but it's going to make it easier on another turn so that I could attack it. Right. So in a way, it almost allows you to kind of do a layaway plan for conquering.
It's really neat. I love the contextual feel of actually taking stuff down, building it up. Obviously, like very Santorini, or So it's everything was really smooth. It played quickly for the amount of stuff that's in the game. We played We almost got to the end. There were some people that needed to leave, but we were just right at an hour.
About an hour in, and we were on turn 8, and this was with 4 players. Four players and no one coming in cold on the rules. So
yeah. So what is it? What's the player count on this?
2 to 4, and it actually plays really well with 2. We just unlocked a 2-player map, so it makes the map a little tighter, so that way it keeps the tension. It keeps the tension a little more high in a 2-player game. And I think, you know, as a guy who loves area control games, there's not many that work well with 2 players, and this one actually works really well with 2 players.
Neat. This is on Kickstarter right now. Still got what, about 3 weeks left?
Yeah, we got about 3 weeks left. Yeah.
Cool, 3 weeks left, so plenty of time for you guys to get in. This is Path of Light and Shadow from Indie Boards and Cards. This is Travis and James. We're at Cool Mini Expo. That's why you hear all the randomness in the background now. We're playing some games and having a good time. So, guys, check it out on Kickstarter. Later.